TKZ here. I'm going to be talking about financial crisis. In particular, the Asian financial crisis of 1997. Now, the Asian crisis of 1997, represents sudden capital flight. It represents, a banking crisis. It represents, debt, and all the problems of moral hazard, in the financial markets. Now, how this happened is that, the Asian countries in question, Malaysia, Thailand, South Korea, Indonesia, they encouraged rapid growth in their countries by raising some interest rates. That were really attractive. On returns that were really attractive. To outsiders. So there was a lot of capital inflow. Within these countries. Beneath these capital inflows, there was a lot of debt. The country's real output was not matching. So they had a real budget deficit. Within these countries, which was really dangerous. And so they financed most of these, projects through what we might call hot money, which was a lot of credit. So they encourage a lot of companies, in the private sector, to guarantee returns on investments. Using government money. So the companies were really reckless. So there was over expansion, in credit, which is typical in instances where financial crisis. Okay, first, there is a real boom in asset prices. So there was an asset price, bubble. Particularly in the real estate, and with all these investments, taking on, more and more credit. It was clear that when sentiments, changed, these countries would experience, huge problems. So when sentiments finally changed, and people felt that the currencies of these countries were devalued, were overvalued, investors simply took their money out and started to invest, anywhere else. So there was sudden capital flight, and the countries were still running high budget deficits. So what happened in the end is that the countries were forced to devalue their currencies, and it made it worse. Because they couldn't pay their debts. So in the end, the IMF had to give a $40 billion bailout to these countries to sustain themselves. So fast forward to this year now, some of the countries are now doing well, but this was a very important lesson, for all. Thank you.